Hi guys! In today's video, we'll be turning this Frankie Monster High doll into a zombie. The idea to do this randomly came to me, and I decided to do a pretty gross and creepy zombie since it's Halloween season. I focused on the face transformation in this video, but you can transform the entire body if you want to. Let's get started. The doll I'm using is again a second-hand doll, so I can't tell you what model she is, but it's a Frankie doll and she came with a top hat and boots that had heels that looked like little bunnies coming out of hats. So she either looked like something coming out of the circus or maybe Alice in Wonderland themed, I don't know. I'll be keeping the original hair for this one, so I started by removing all her clothes and accessories and then using some Acetone nail polish remover to remove the factory paint. Once the face was all clean, I took my sharp Acetone knife to do some modifications. To make it look really creepy, I'll be cutting out a little hole on her cheek to be a wound, and I'll also be cutting away the side of her lip so we can draw on exposed teeth. Obviously, if you don't want to do this, you can totally skip it and just draw whatever you want on top of the face. Once you carve away all the areas that you want to take a file of some sort to smooth out the surface. I'm using an electric file, but you can do it by hand. Remove any dust from the face and give it a wash, and then we're ready for the repaint. I'll be covering the hair with one of my extra cotton gloves, just so it won't get the spray in them, keeping it in there with a few needles. Then I primed the face with 3 thin coats of Mr. Super Clear, and then using my regular stuff for the repaint, being my watercolor pencil, some chalk pastel, and additional acrylic paint. As per usual, I started by sketching on the eyes. I made them a lot smaller than the original characters, just because bigger eyes usually contribute to a cuter look, and that wasn't the look I was going for. I made both eyes a cool blue because I wanted them to look like frosted and dead in the end. Draw on the exposed teeth and block them in with white pencil. I applied skin-colored chalk pastel all over the face to kind of make her look like she was once alive, but just now has a very unhealthy tone. Then I sealed the doll again with the Mrs. Super Clear spray and let it dry so I could start working on top. Since the modified areas are still a bit raw, it's kind of hard to use the pencil and get the most out of it right away, so I also used the watercolor effect of my pencils, damping a brush and then rubbing it on the tip of the pencil and then applying the color that way because it gives a slightly more opaque result. I start defining the eyes with a dark brown pencil. I won't be giving the doll any lashes, no drawn on or 3D lashes, not anything, because I think it would take away from the grossness of it. I layered red on top of the darker areas because it added a bit of depth and a red undertone which seemed very ominous. I outlined from the brow bone and going all the way around the eye to make it look really dried out and hollow. I use a skin colored pencil to block in a bit more of regular skin color around the face. Then I switched to my chalk pastels again, using brown on the tip of the nose as if it was deteriorating and about to fall off, and then around the hollows of the eyes. Then I switch to a darker brown to add depth to the shading. Then I used a bit more skin tone pastel in the highlight areas, and then I was ready to spray the doll again. In the coming layers, I go in and darken and define what we've already done. I like switching between my chalk pastels and my pencils, layering them from different effects, and also to bring in the different undertones of color. I also shade around the face very close to the hairline to make it look very dirty and also conceal whatever residue of the original skin tone. And time for another spray. Details like making the veins of the eyes really prominent is some of the things that I feel really add to the creep factor. I feel like the colors often fade a bit once you've set them in with the spray, so I end up going over the same areas many times to define the colors. For the open wounds, I just added as much color I could with my red pencil, because I'll be adding paint on top. I dabbed on pink chalk pastel to all the areas that was going to be either wounds or bloody. At this point I sprayed the doll again, and then I got out the acrylic paint, mixing up red, browns and blacks to add really top grossness by adding blood to the wounds. After using a bigger brush to sort of smear the red onto the face, I switched to a smaller one and dabbed on small speckles. Then I went in with a final bit of shading and dividing a few areas. I also added a bit of white in the eyes to make them look glazed over and dead. Then we're ready to give the doll the final seal. Once dry, you can add glaze to the eyes and also the wounds. And that's the doll's face done. Now we can free the hair, and I'll be brushing some chalk pastels into the hairline to make it look dirty. Rubbing the chalk pastel a bit into the hair, and then our zombification is done. So to recap, this is what the doll looked like before she was bitten by a zombie, and this is what it looks like now. Obviously, you can make this however scary or gross you want. This was just the style I went for. I hope you guys enjoyed this little Halloween contribution. If you did, hit the like button to let me know, and I'll see you guys in a new video real soon. Bye!